What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we are doing the first round review of the 2017 NFL Draft. This is probably one of the most unpredictable drafts I've ever seen, most weirdest draft I've ever seen, as we see three quarterbacks taken in the top 15 teams that traded from the late first round all the way to the early first round just to get these quarterbacks who are not even that special. And then we see the Chicago Bears. You would have thought that the Cleveland Browns would have screwed up in this draft out of every other team in this draft. But no, the Chicago Bears wanted to challenge that statement. And they definitely had the worst move so far in this draft. And I don't think anybody is going to top it with Mitch Trubisky getting chosen in the first round. And we'll start off with that because we knew Myles Garrett was going to go to Cleveland. We just thought maybe Cleveland could mess up, but they didn't. They actually did what they needed to do. And they actually had a pretty good first round so far. Then let's move on to Chicago as they get Mitchell Trubisky. And you know what? I don't understand this whatsoever. They traded with San Francisco. Now, there was some rumors. I don't know if this is true, but I think Chicago was afraid of Cleveland trading back to number 2, trading with San Francisco to go to number 2 and take Mitchell Trubisky. I think they were scared of that, but I still can't understand it, how they would go up one spot. They give up, I think, a few third-round picks and a fourth-round pick for this spot, just to go up one spot for somebody that I don't even think San Francisco was interested in whatsoever. And then you had Chicago, and they had a perfect smokescreen. They're paying Mike Glennon, who they just got, about a little over $15 million a year. And, you know, going into the season, I think everybody thought Mike Glennon, for the time being, was going to be their starter. Now, you know, nobody was going to think they were going to pick up Mitch Trubisky. And lo and behold, they wound up trading up and getting Mitch Trubisky. I think they could have waited to number 3 to take him, and I think that would have already been a shocker to teams and the fans. But yeah, just the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. Chicago fans, my condolences go out for you. Your team front office is retarded. Ryan Pace is probably going to have his head on a pike soon enough. But we'll see who's going to win that job for the starting quarterback, Mitch Trubisky or Mike Glennon. You know, they could say all they want that Mitch Trubisky is going to sit behind Mike Glennon for a couple years, but that same thing happened with Carson Wentz, and look what happened to him. He became the starter, day one starter. So, moving on, San Francisco trades down, gets a bunch of picks, and still gets the guy they want in Solomon Thomas. So Solomon Thomas goes to San Francisco, defensive end out of Stanford. Then we move on to Jacksonville. They do a good job here getting Leonard Fournette, best player on their board by far. So we move on to Tennessee. I had Tennessee taking Corey Davis in the first round in my first mock draft, and they wound up, taking him here. I thought I would get this right. I thought they would go Marshon Lattimore here, but they didn't go Marshon Lattimore. They wound up picking a corner with the 18th pick, and we'll get to that soon enough. But great pick here, great value pick here. I kind of think that this should be their best pick. I know MJ from Sports Fan Entertainment wanted Jamal Adams instead, but I think as far as the value here and as far as the to fill in the need, I believe that Corey Davis was the right pick here, and I don't think you could have gotten any better than that. Because I mean, for right now, you do have Jonathan Cyprien there at strong safety, so I think Corey Davis would have been the better pick here. Then we move on to the Jets. They're surprised Jamal Adams falls to number 6, and they pick him up. So great job there by the Jets. I'm kind of jealous because Jamal Adams is a freaking monster, and I would have loved to have him on my team. And the Jets really just had Jamal Adams fall to their lap. Moving on to the Los Angeles Chargers, they pick up Mike Williams. I thought they should have went Malik Hooker, but that's not a bad pick at all either. And Mike Williams goes to the Chargers with Keenan Allen on the other side of that receiving core, so should be a better offense than what we've seen before, even though that offense is always good, always putting up numbers. So they just got even better. Moving on to Carolina taking Christian McCaffrey. I didn't understand this from the mock drafts, how they would take Christian McCaffrey here. First of all, I don't even think he's a top 10 talent. That's one. Second of all, I don't think he runs that scheme. You know, the Panthers are like a ground and pound type of team. They'll rather run it than pass it. I know Christian McCaffrey gets 30 touches a game in Stanford, but the way they run the football there in Carolina, it's smash mouth football. I don't think that Christian McCaffrey fits that whatsoever. You know, we'll see what happens, but you know, I wish the best of luck for Christian McCaffrey because I love him coming into this draft. I just thought he could have been a better fit somewhere else. But man, I don't like Christian McCaffrey at Carolina. We'll see what happens this season. So moving on to Cincinnati. Cincinnati takes John Ross here. I think this was a surprise by everybody. I think I saw one mock draft that had John Ross going to Cincinnati on NFL.com. One mock draft saying that. I can't remember who it was, but whoever it was is a genius, I guess. But yeah, I think this is not a bad pick. I think they could have went defense here. I think the better pick should have been Jonathan Allen, or if they wanted to, Reuben Foster. Those were definitely the better picks. But I can see why they chose John Ross. They want to up that receiving core a little bit. I mean, the only receivers they really have on that team is A.J. Green and Tyler Boyd. And, you know, it's not saying much. A.J. Green's good, but Tyler Boyd is all right. Then you got John Ross you could put in the mix. Then you could use Cody Core a little bit more. So there is that. Then you move on to Kansas City trading with the Buffalo Bills. Keep in mind, I don't have all the trade details. You guys can look that up. I don't have it all with me, but they traded with the Kansas City Chiefs. So the Kansas City Chiefs moves up, and they take Pat Mahomes with the number 10 overall pick. Pat Mahomes. That's ridiculous. I did not understand this pick whatsoever. I thought they could have even waited to the 27th pick to take Pat Mahomes. Or if they wanted to trade up, they could trade up to in the top 15 a little bit. They traded in the top 10 for Pat Mahomes. Why? I guess they were kind of afraid of Arizona, but I still didn't think Arizona was going to take Pat Mahomes, even though there was a lot of controversy there. You know, it blows my mind. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. I don't even think Pat Mahomes is ready to be a first round pick. I don't think he's ready to play in the NFL yet. He has a great arm. So does Jay Cutler. I say this all the time. He's not ready for the NFL yet. If he proves me wrong, then he proves me wrong, but I don't think he's ready for the NFL yet. We move on to New Orleans. Probably the best pick in this draft, just about the best pick in this draft, is New Orleans taking Marshon Lattimore. Everybody was thinking, oh, they'll take Derek Barnett, they'll take Garyon Conley, they'll take so-and-so, they'll take so-and-so, because Marshon Lattimore, there's no way Marshon Lattimore will be on the board at number 11. There's no way. And lo and behold, they didn't need to trade up. They didn't need to do anything. They just sat there and waited patiently, and Marshon Lattimore was on the board. What a great pick for New Orleans. They get a stud number 1 cornerback to fit in that defense who really need secondary help, and they get one here. This is probably one of the best picks, in my opinion, in this draft so far. One of the best picks so far. Moving on, we've got Houston getting Dashaun Watson at number 12. Again, I don't understand why they traded up so far to get him, but I do like Dashaun Watson more. I'm not afraid of this pick as much as I am of the Pat Mahomes pick. I'm not like, that's kind of, stay away from that kind of pick. But I still like Dashaun Watson. I think he's the best quarterback in this draft. So I could see why Houston traded up about, what is it, 13 picks to go up for Dashaun Watson. I could see that. So we move on to Arizona. Arizona takes Hasson Reddick. I love this pick. Great pick. He's going to fit that 3-4 nicely. It depends if they put him on the inside or the outside. Are they going to put him inside with Deion Buchanan? And, because he has great coverage skills. Or are they going to put him on the outside linebacker where he has also great pass rushing skills? Not only that, I mean, he could drop back in coverage. So, Hasson Reddick, just a great pick for the Arizona Cardinals. Moving on, Indianapolis, Malik Hooker falls all the way from what people say is the top 5 A lot of people had him going in the top 5. A lot of people had him going in the top 10. This guy fell to the 15th spot. That's insane. And Indianapolis doesn't blink twice and takes him here. Their pick went in really quick. Baltimore Ravens, they take Marlon Humphrey. I saw a lot of people mocking this as well. Now that Garyon Conley was accused of rape, and Marlon Humphrey did pick him up. The Baltimore Ravens did pick up Marlon Humphrey. I think it's a great pick. I think Marlon Humphrey, besides Sidney Jones, is the second best cornerback in this draft. I just thought, I kind of value the balanced cornerbacks better than just the people who could guard against the pass, like Garyon Conley. I like the fact that Marlon Humphrey not only can cover, covering is not his super strong suit or anything like that, but he can definitely press. He has good press coverage, and he's very good against the run, very physical, very aggressive tackler. That's exactly what I want in a corner. I want somebody who's willing to go up and tackle the running back, tackle huge power backs. He'll do that, tackle and screen passes, make great plays physically, and that's what I want to see in a corner, and I think this is a great pick for Baltimore. Moving on, we've got Washington taking Jonathan Allen. Jonathan Allen, a lot of people had him going number 2 overall to San Francisco. He falls all the way down to the number 17th spot. Great pick by Washington. Moving on to the Tennessee Titans. They take Adoree Jackson. What? They took Adoree Jackson? They could have took Garyon Conley. They could have took Chidobe Awuzie out of Colorado. They could have took Kevin King. Who else could have? They could have took a lot of different corners other than Adoree Jackson. Adoree Jackson, in my opinion, is a 3rd-round corner, in my opinion. He's nothing more than a slot corner. I don't know why the NFL is valuing these slot corners very well in this league. Makes no sense to me. He has a knack of fighting the football. I get that. He had a lot of interceptions in his career. But, you look at a player like Vernon Hargreaves. He'll never be a number 1 corner in this league. And that's why I think the Giants took Eli Apple before Vernon Hargreaves, because Eli Apple has that number 1 cornerback potential. Vernon Hargreaves is nothing more than a slot corner, and that's exactly what I see in Adoree Jackson. Maybe they could have taken him because they feel like Logan Ryan is their guy at number 1, but I still don't see the reason why you have all these other corners on the board and you still took Adoree Jackson. It doesn't make any sense to me. To me, it feels like you spent a 1st-round pick on a kick returner and a punt returner. That's what I feel like you spent a 1st-round pick on. I don't think he's going to do much in the cornerback core. I don't think he's going to do much on defense whatsoever. I think special teams is going to be his niche, his home. So that's what I see there. Moving on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they select O.J. Howard, tight end out of Alabama. I was saying this from day one. It was in my first mock draft. They're going to take a tight end. They need one. They don't really have too much needs on that team, and I think they could upgrade their offense with O.J. Howard. And all of my mock drafts, I had the Buccaneers taking in a tight end, all 3 of them. So that's definitely a great pick in my opinion for Tampa Bay Buccaneers. By the way, all my grades, I'm going to put my grades, from A plus to D, or from A plus to F. I'm going to put that in the description for each pick. I'll put A or B or D, whatever. So, moving on, Garrett Bowles goes to Denver. I was extremely upset at this, that the Giants didn't take initiative and trade up for this pick. I'm not upset about who we picked now that I know who we picked, but I still wanted Garrett Bowles instead. He was my number 1 prospect, still is my number 1 prospect for the Giants, and I'm still upset that we didn't take him, but best of luck for Garrett Bowles, playing for Denver. Moving on, the Detroit Lions take Jarrad Davis. Now, I have mixed feelings about this because I really like Jarrad Davis. I know he's 1st-round talent, and I'm happy for you, whatever, Detroit Lions fans that's watching this. I'm very happy your team chose Jarrad Davis. Great. You can put him anywhere. Yeah, I think he's best suited inside linebacker is what he played in college. Has pretty good coverage for a middle linebacker and could also stop the run. Very aggressive tackler. I like what he does on the field, as far as stopping the run and in coverage. but the problem is his injury problems are just too much for me to pick him in the first round. I get the player that he is. I get the player that he could become, but if I was the Detroit Lions, I don't know if I would take him. I hope they have a good medical staff over there to keep him healthy, help him stay healthy, prevent him from any injury. But Jarrad Davis, to me, is like a John Beeson to me, for all you Giants fans or any of you Carolina fans out there. John Beeson, great middle linebacker, great in coverage, great at stopping the run. I mean, very smart, very instinctive middle linebacker. But, I mean, it was almost like every game this guy was getting a concussion. Every game he was having a knee problem. Every game, he popped his hip or something like that. It was too much for the Giants to handle. They wind up cutting him, and that's why the Carolina Panthers wind up trading him. He was a great talent with just some bad injury problems, and all that potential that he had, he wasn't able to put on the field because he was always injured. So that's who I see Jarrad Davis to be. I hope that's not the case. I really like him as a prospect, but we'll see what happens. I hope you guys, you Detroit fans, are happy about it because he is a great player. So moving on, Miami takes Charles Harris here. They need some pass rushing help. They went him here. I was surprised they didn't take Forrest Lamp, but Charles Harris is a good pick too. The New York Giants, my New York Giants take Evan Ingram, tight end out of Ole Miss. And you know what? At first, when I saw this pick, I wanted to break my TV because I was like, "Are you kidding me? We got David Njoku on the board. We got Ryan Ramczyk on the board. We got Zach Cunningham on the board. Why did we choose Evan Ingram? Why?" But if you see, everybody's calling Evan Ingram. He's the matchup nightmare. And, I'm looking at his film now. I already looked at his film. But just imagining him in a Giants uniform, making those plays, he looks like a wide receiver. I mean, when I first saw Evan Ingram, this is no lie, when I first saw Evan Ingram, especially by the number he wears 17, I thought he was a wide receiver. I thought this guy was a wide receiver, and once I saw him lining up at the tight end spot, I'm like, what, are they coming in some kind of weird package or whatever? That wasn't the case. He's actually a tight end. He's a huge tight end, very fast tight end. Had one of the best combines for a tight end this year. One could say he outmatched O.J. Howard and David Njoku in the combine. So I think it's going to be a great fit for the Giants. We need a special tight end like him. We already have a blocking tight end in Rhett Ellison. So, and he is an all-right blocker. He's not the best, but, I mean, he's 6'3", 227, or I think he moved up to 234. I don't know which one is the current weight, but I'm very happy with the Evan Ingram pick. I know we should have took him now because he would have probably gotten taken late in the first or early in the second, and I don't think we should have traded up for him in the second because I got my eyes set on Zach Cunningham. I hope the Giants trade up for Zach Cunningham in the second. Please do it, please. But, yeah, Evan Ingram to the Giants. I'm not complaining whatsoever. Can't wait to see him in a uniform. Can't wait to see him on the field. Moving on, Garyon Conley to Oakland. I'm happy he was chosen in the first round. Those rape allegations, I bet they weren't true. Every year, there's always a player that has some kind of baggage on him coming out right before the draft, and he was the victim this year. I bet you he wasn't. I bet you he was innocent in this situation. Somebody didn't want to see him winning, and I'm happy he got chosen here to a great team in Oakland. It was a blessing more than a curse for him. He could have gotten to Philadelphia. He could have went to Philadelphia, but yeah, I'm happy he went to Oakland. He's gonna play alongside some great defensive players there in Oakland. And moving on, Cleveland trades up again to get. They traded picks with Houston. They didn't trade up. They traded down. They got Jabril Peppers here. Great pick. They don't have a safety. I think Budda Baker would have been the better pick. Maybe because I'm biased. I love Budda Baker. I think he's the second best safety or the third best safety in this draft. But Jabril Peppers is also a good pick here. I think Jabril Peppers is a little overrated, but that's okay. Atlanta takes Takkarist McKinley. I knew they're going to take Takk McKinley. I knew it. Why did I change it in my final mock draft? I didn't understand. Listen, Atlanta loves fast players. They love fast, shifty players that can also get the job done. They've been doing that for a long time now, getting fast players, whether they're drafting them or whether they're getting undrafted free agents. They love fast players. And, Takars McKinley is one of the fastest defensive end you see on tape. He, and on top of that, he ran like a 4.5 40. You just turn on his game tape, is even faster. So I knew they're going to take Takar McKinley here. But why did I change it? I don't know. They traded up to get him too. So moving on to Buffalo, they get Tre'Davious White here. Great pick, very underrated corner. I think he could eventually be that number one corner. You may even see him beat Ronald Darby in training camp to be that number one corner. Keep your eye on that. I think Tre'Davious White could become that number one corner pretty quickly. Moving on, Dallas gets Taco Charlton. Best player available that fits their needs. Yes, they could have chosen Reuben Foster here. I wouldn't doubt the Dallas Cowboys getting Reuben Foster here because they love taking players that have, problems off the field, like convicts and people with felonies and stuff like that. I think they learn from their mistakes by taking Greg Hardy in free agency and taking Randy Gregory in the draft about 3 years ago. So I think they learned their lesson here, and they just took Taco Charlton, and that's a good pick for them as well. I like Taco Charlton. Moving on, Cleveland trades back into the first round with Green Bay. Green Bay now gets the first pick in the second round, and they take David Njoku, tight end from Miami. He winds up being the third tight end taken here. Sadly, it looks like David Njoku's career is over because who's going to throw him the ball? I don't know. But Gary Barnidge, I just heard word that Gary Barnidge might be getting cut, so David Njoku would be, obviously the starter now for the Cleveland Browns. And 3 first-round picks for the Cleveland Browns. That's a great job there. Starting off in the draft, starting off strong. You got one of the best players to ever show up in the draft in Myles Garrett. You got him already. I mean, that would have been already just a great pick. And then you got Jabril Peppers on top of that, plus David Njoku. Great draft so far from the Cleveland Browns. So far, we'll see. Moving on, the Pittsburgh Steelers take T.J. Watt, outside linebacker out of Wisconsin. I think Tim Williams would have been the better pick here, but I understand why people don't want to take Tim Williams. You'll probably see him get his name called in the third round tonight. But, whoever takes him is definitely going to have a steal in this draft. So they take T.J. Watt. I think it's a great fit here for T.J. Watt. Don't think it was a reach at all. A lot of people are saying it's a reach, but I like T.J. Watt. I think he belongs in the first round. And, moving on, San Francisco trades with Seattle, who traded down from the 26th spot, so they trade down twice. They give it to their rivals in San Francisco. Imagine what that says about their rivalry. I don't think it's a rivalry anymore. San Francisco now takes Reuben Foster. I didn't think he was going to go in the first round after all. Everybody was skipping out on him, like Washington and Tennessee could have used him too. The Giants could have used him. Dallas could have used him. Nobody wanted him. Indianapolis could have used him. Nobody wanted him. But San Francisco trades up. They get Reuben Foster here. I guess because they thought New Orleans could have taken him. That's a very good possibility. But Solomon Thomas and Reuben Foster on the same team. That is scary. The Giants face San Francisco this year, so we'll see what happens there. But that's a scary, scary situation for anybody that faces that defense. Hopefully their offense gets a little better. Moving on, the last pick of the first round, Ryan Ramczyk goes to New Orleans. He gets chosen here at the last pick. I understand the pick. I mean, they could have used a tackle, but I still think they could have went defense here. I still think they could have picked up either Obi Melifonwu or Budda Baker. I thought Budda Baker was a great pick and a great fit for them, but they passed up on him. So that's that. And that is the first round of the 2017 draft, everybody. Hope you guys had a great draft night. I hope you guys, whatever team you're a fan of, I hope they chose the right guy, unless you are a Chicago Bears fan, then I feel your pain. Actually, I don't, because my team never, we picked Eric Flowers 9th overall once upon a time. So I guess I do feel your pain. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'll be making another video in depth about the Evan Ingram pick. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.